Okay, very good afternoon to everyone. We'll try to cover up the last topic which we have left out during our last class, during our last physical class. Today we'll try to talk about the topic called the role of opposition in a democracy. Now here, this topic it doesn't talk. We are not talking only about the Indian government, but we are talking about all the democratic form of government in and around the country or in and around the world. So, what are the roles of the opposition? And definitely, we need opposition in any government because they have to check the power of the government. So, the first function of the opposition party is to act as a restraining force. Means they have to check the government and then they have to watch their activities or what they are doing. If not, without restraining force of the opposition or without watching them by the opposition, definitely this ruling government, they will take power into their own hand and then they can misuse it, they can do anything, they can pass any kind of bill without this opposition in the government. So definitely opposition is very important, and then the first one they do is they act as a restraining force and act as an alert watchdog. Now, how or by what they can achieve this purpose, or how can they restrain the force and act as a watch alert dog? The first one is by utilizing a caution hour. Now here, a caution hour, it lasts only for 1 hour in the parliament session, and then in this 1 hour, a government or the opposition party can put up any kind of question to the particular minister about their functioning. Now they can ask minister about their administrative activities or any kind of activities which involves or which matters to the public importance, and then the minister have to answer them either by written form or in oral form. In any way they have to reply or they have to give the answer to the opposition party. So this question hour is very important to bring out a very important discussion in the parliament. The second one is adjournment motion. Here adjournment means to put off something which is not so much important. Like what I'm trying to say is opposition party can ask the government to put off other matters which are not so much important at hand, and then they can ask the government to take up the most important matter which is very much important at the present time. Something like they want to discuss some other issues, but the opposition can ask, since at this present time the people are facing with the destruction of this COVID-19 cases, so the opposition can ask the government to put off other discussion and then rather discuss about the COVID-19 matter, which is very much important at this present time. So that is called the adjournment motion. Now the third one is no confidence motion. Now this no confidence motion is very important, and then it can be moved by the opposition, and then it can even dissolve the ruling government. It can even remove the government from the its ruling. And then this motion, it talks about the no confidence motion, means like we the people, we don't have any more confidence in your government, so you can move out if you can't prove your credibility to the people. And then they go for a test called the floor test. We can't go too much detail into that, but anyway, this confidence motion is very important, and then it can be it's very strong, and it can even remove the government from the ruling. The fourth one is the censure motion. Here, this censure motion is moved against a minister, a particular minister or a group of ministers expressing a strong disapproval or a matter that are debatable, like for example, like the Citizenship Amendment Bill, CAP. This was one of the most debatable law that was passed by the ruling government, and then it was moved against the government. by the opposition not to pass this bill. So censure motion means something, the motion which has been moved against a minister or a group of ministers or against the government regarding the strong disapproval of the matters, and that is more debatable, like example which I've already cited. Now the second one is appointment of the investigation committee. Now opposition can demand the government to set up an investigation committee to investigate the wrongdoing of any minister. This committee may be of 1 person, 2 person or 3 person, but anyway, this appointment of investigation committee and then the opposition being the part of the commission can really prove effective for checking up the misconduct of any kind of ministers. So that is the second point. The third one is government, it acts as a government in reserve. Now what is government in reserve means? When the ruling government could not continue anymore because they could not win the confidence of the people on them anymore, or because of some machinery failures in the government, then definitely the opposition party will set up a new government. So that is what it is meant by the government in reserve. The fourth one is it acts as a grievance ventilation role. Here it means the opposition work as a source through which public grievances are made known to the ruling government. That is clear as that. They act as a grievance ventilation role for the public or the people in general. Now the fifth one is opposition. Though they are called opposition, it doesn't mean that always they have to go and opposing on the policies and government of the ruling of the government that is in power. But they should see which one is important, which one is good, or the law which have been passed is good or bad for the people. They have to analyze that, and then it's not that every bill, every law, rules and regulations should be criticized or opposed by the opposition party because they are called opposition party. But the bill or the law which are good for the people, even the opposition party should give a supporting role on that to the ruling government. Personal feud or hatred should not be brought up because against the party. On personal, they should not bring up the personal issues, their personal issues, and the matter of this, like in checking up the government or in functioning of the government. So, but it should rather be for the betterment of the general public in common, not for their personal uses. So here are a few things or a few questions. In what way can an opposition work effectively? How can the opposition work effectively? How can they act as a grievance ventilation? How can they act as a government in reserve or many other things? How can they work effectively? Let's see some of the things. The first one is they should be well informed about the various public issues. Now, without knowledge about what the grievances the public are facing, they cannot just go and charge the government. So, how they can work effectively is they should be well informed. What are the various public issues that faced by the public? The second one is they should analyze the good and bad effect of their move. Now, if they are going to take this step, whether it will be good for the people or whether it will be effective for the people or whether it will affect the people the otherwise. So they should analyze the good and bad effect of their moves. The third one is they should not miss any opportunity to expose the ruling government of their failures. Now, this is simple as that. They should not miss any opportunity when they found any opportunity to expose the ruling government of their failures. The fourth one is it is advisable for the leader of the opposition and the government in power to have a mutual trust. Though they belong to different political parties, their main objective is to work for the betterment of the people. So they should have a mutual understanding between one another. So that is how they can work together hand in hand, and then they can work for the betterment of the country or the nation and the people in general. Now let's see the role of opposition in India. We are not particularly talking about India, not the democratic form of government in general. Okay, so like any other opposition party, even the opposition party in India, they check on the unfair act of the rulers, same as the first point in the of the role of opposition in democracy. They bring up parliamentary debates and investigation on the wrongdoings or misfunctioning of the misuses of the power by the ruling party. The third one is they lend the support to the wise legislation. Like I told you, it's not necessary that opposition should always go against the law and the policies made by the ruling government. So the same thing, they should lend the support to the wise legislation. Fourth one is the negative role of the opposition. Now here, the negative role of opposition, we are talking about the government, the opposition government misusing their own power. They will misuse their own power, and then they will do something for their own personal benefits. Like in order to take revenge against certain or particular minister, they will try to raise a question in the parliament session, something like that. These are the negative role of the opposition. Though they know that the rules and regulation which are being passed is for the betterment of the people or the nation, but since they have a personal issue among one another, they try to oppose those things likewise. So this is called the negative role of the opposition, misusing their own power as a opposition party. So that is all for today. I hope you have understood. If there is any kind of misunderstanding, or if there is nothing which you cannot understand, I'll be very happy to, and I would like you to listen to this explanation and then comment or give any feedback on the explanation which I've sent you.